We've had quite a few babysitter shows and movies this year. The Babysitters Club, The Babysitter, Killer Queen, and now A Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting. That's a lot of babysitting. What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel, A Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting. We're talking about the movie, the adaptation of the book. I need you in the comments down below. Were you excited for this movie? Do you like these spooky Netflix movies? It's like Goosebumps, kind of. Let's talk about it. So, a babysitter embarks on a mission to save a child who's been abducted by monsters. We have Tamara Smart, who plays Kelly, the lead character. Tom Felton, ladies and gentlemen. This man gives a mad performance in this movie as this crazy, spooky, creepy, scary leader of all of these ghosts and ghouls and creatures of the night. But essentially, we're fighting off the Boogeyman and his companions. So when I made the Goosebumps comparison, that's what this movie feels like, very much so. And more so even the Jack Black movie, and I guess its sequel, looking at the CGI and kind of the style of the creatures. Now, we don't have all of these different objects coming to life, but we do have the monsters living in this little kid's room under the kid's bed. It does kind of capture our fears as we're growing up. Are you afraid of the dark? That's a book series as well. But I believe it is kind of hitting that target audience of children, not doing a great job of balancing adults and kids as the audience, because there will be many families who sit down to watch this, adults with their kids. They may want to turn it off, but in terms of who it's trying to appeal to, I believe it's going to capture that audience. And I say that because it reminds me a lot of how I felt about a movie like Spy Kids, how it was a bit over-exaggerated. Granted, I think that movie is better in terms of direction and even acting at times. A couple of the side characters here, they come in, they say some things, I'm just like, Dad, maybe that could have been better. But as a whole, I think you look at the acting of the lead performers, and they do a good enough job. They capture the spirit of what this movie is going for. And what this film is intended to be is a lot of fun, a lot of visual madness, a lot of capturing the fears that children have, whether it's going to sleep at night or fighting off ghouls and ghosts who may or may not live in your room. And you have this secret society of babysitters who go around hunting these things at night. That's really cool. And I think that's something that a lot of people will be interested in. Now, how they handle it, again, I wasn't all the way there on. I do believe it's too much at times, and it really does, by the time we get to the end, not to skip forward too far, it really does shoehorn in the possibility of a sequel. Here's what I'll say. I honestly believe this would have been better as a TV series. Sure, the budget had to be something. They don't look too realistic, I guess, but the budget was there for sure. But if they would have made this 8 episodes, fleshed out this adventure a bit more, because I feel like we're just kind of rushing from scene to scene. We're going to introduce the character of Liz. We're going to try to get the chemistry down pat. We're going to go to this party and fight off some boogeymen here and there. And it's just kind of boom, 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 all the way until the final act. And then once we get into that final act, we do have a showdown of sorts. And I really enjoyed the idea of children, even younger than our babysitters here, conquering their fears, standing up for not only themselves, but for others. And the ideas, I believe, are here in this movie. They're present, absolutely. And again, you can't go wrong with Felton's just magnificent performance, just his voice, the way he carries himself. A lot of people will look at it as cheesy and over the top, and in a way it is. But for a movie like this, I believe you have to be over the top at times, talking more about the characters and less about the plot itself, and just the familiarity of where the plot progresses to, and the fact that I have seen this movie so many different times in different ways. I mean, just this year, it reminds me of the vibes that I got from a movie like The Sleepover. Granted, we have all of these different creatures and whatnot here, but it's capturing the imagination and just the wackiness of this story, but taking everything to an 11 out of 10. Over the top, crazy, from the dialogue to the experiences to the fact that things are happening and no one except our main characters are noticing what is happening. So, you know, in that vein, it's ridiculous, and I don't think it's going to appeal to those adults, unfortunately, that are sitting and watching this with their kids. But again, it all comes down to what this movie is intended to do. I believe it does it. I believe there's some charm here, and some of our performances are really sweet. And I think that's really important for a film like this. So thank you guys so much for watching this. Before I give you my score, if you like these Netflix reviews, stay tuned because my goodness, so many things coming this weekend. And I'm going to go right down the middle, a 5 out of 10 at 50%. I just think this film was a bit too much for its own good. But again, sit your kids down, say, hey, there's a great movie on Netflix, check it out. I think they're going to have a good time with it. A bit of a Monsters, Inc. vibe in there as well in terms of these creepy creatures hiding under the bed and whatnot. So I appreciate you guys big time for watching this. Stay tuned, like I said. That Oscar video I was mentioning earlier, I'm pushing that off until Saturday just to get these reviews out of the way. I'll see you guys soon.